Hi, welcome to the When I Wanted Out talk show. I'm your host, Teleola Kola-Edun. Thank you so much for watching our episodes every week. We do hope it's making an impact in your life or in the life of someone that you know. Now, this episode, we're going to be discussing a story titled, He Wooed Me for 5 years, but asked for a divorce after 8 months of marriage. Now, this story is about a beautiful lady who was wooed by her ex for 5 years. When she eventually accepted the man's advances, they had a long-distance relationship for 7 months before getting married. He came to Nigeria for the marriage and returned to the United States immediately after. She stayed with his brother while she worked on her visa to meet her husband. But that brought a lot of family interference, leading to her husband taking the side of his siblings over her and ending the marriage after 8 months. Now, with me to discuss this story are Miss Kate Elker. Thank you so very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And Mr. Abe Oyetunji. Thank you very much for coming. Yes, so I'm going to start ladies first. When you read this story, what did you think? What was your initial reaction to the story?
From what I read, I feel like there are two sides to a coin, and this is one-sided. But I can understand, I understand, where she's coming from. I understand her pain, but then I feel like there's more to the story, to give it sense, to make sense of it all. Let me put it that way.
Why? What are the issues where you feel like this story has holes?
I feel I because she didn't go into details about the family members, like why would they, all of a sudden, come up with stories about, why would they hate her all of a sudden? But another thing is that I make of it is, this is not to her, but to her husband who lives abroad. Mm-hmm. Why would you make your wife stay with your family?
I asked her that same question. I was like, why didn't he just get you a place? And she said, no, I have a place. I live in a different state. But because of my visa, to be able to go for visa interviews and checks, I stayed in Abuja with his brother.
It still doesn't make sense because you're not supposed. How long are you supposed to wait for your brother? Well, they can email you or call you, or you can do a follow up from a remote location, so you don't always have to be at a particular place.
Okay,
location for that to get that information.
Or even for you, like, how did you stay so long to the point that the family members are tracking your phone and doing all of that? So that means you're a bit. You stayed a bit too long.
There's a saying that visitors are like fish, okay? After 3 days, they start smelling. So I don't know if you stay with, lovers, even when they spend like a week together, first 3 days we are really so sweet, and then the other days like, oh, why did you fight? Why did you do this? Why did you that? You start coming up with issues. So I think she overstayed her welcome. She shouldn't have stayed for that long. She should have stayed for maybe 1-2 weeks, whatever the time frame they gave her from the embassy, and then she can leave. But not just stay there.
No stay, yeah. And that staying was questionable. Okay, yes. What were your initial reactions to the story?
Okay, great. Now, if we look, the message was sent by the lady, right?
Yes.
So, we're going to be judging issues with couples. We need to listen to
both sides, definitely.
The story.
Yeah.
So, looking at it, I'm looking at it from what the lady said. They had a long distance relationship.
Yes.
Built in the US.
Yes.
So, it's not everybody that can manage a long distance relationship. Take myself, for example. I did a long distance relationship.
How did that work out for you?
Yeah. Met my wife on Facebook. She was in Abuja. I'm in Lagos.
Okay.
So, long distance relationship is something that is very difficult if you are not trustworthy. Now, if you read the story very well, they talk about trusts. Both of them don't have trust.
That's true.
Now, if you are going to trust your wife, you shouldn't be depending on what your family are saying. Okay? So, your family are already third parties.
Right.
Third parties shouldn't even be in the question at all. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to blame the man for
allowing his wife to endure that. Yes.
And all of that. But then, just like we're saying just now, that the lady was staying with the family. I mean, why would you be staying with the family for that long? I mean, that is way too long for them to even tip your food.
That part was
Your mom.
that was a lot.
What's coming to the house and
But there's something too. If she doesn't show sign of mistrust, I don't think they will want to go that far. Like, okay, let's start doing this. And then I think that's why they have that communication with the husband. You know, so she must have done something for them to say, for them to report that to the husband, and probably the husband even gave a go ahead. You know what? Keep checking her. Or do this, do that, and they'll just okay. She got.
I hear you on that. I hear you. But what about in this case? From this story, we hear that the man was the wealthiest in the family. And then she also mentioned something, I think, while we were gisting. Well, the money, he sends money to his siblings. And because of that, now he got married. So he added money for his wife, but it's going through his brother. Because the brother is the one that would disburse the money.
Okay,
The mother will keep his own.
might be a reason for that.
It's the lack of trust, though.
Because apart from trust, right? Now, I don't know what states, and I don't even know what the story is coming from. It's the Nigerian story.
No, so the lady is in Nigeria. The man is in the US. She's the one telling the story. The man is sending money to Nigeria regularly, maybe for upkeep.
You know why I mentioned that?
Yes.
Why I said Nigeria, because I think some states, when you have like siblings, like, okay, he's the oldest and he's the wealthiest, right? And then you have your younger one, and for some state, or I don't know, like some culture, it might seem some kind of like a disrespect if your wife is the one, you know, if we are taking money from your wife before you got married, it has always been uncle. So
Yeah, but why can't you split the money though? Give your wife what is hers, give your family what is.
That's another point.
Well, she mentioned that the money was coming still through the brother.
Maybe he has been. That shouldn't be the case, because maybe the money sending money to the brother.
He has been.
Before they got.
Yes.
That's why he continued.
No, his wife should be separate.
No, then it's just a pattern, and then. It's just a pattern,
yeah.
and he developed it with that pattern.
Yes,
I
he
don't
did.
see that as a big, and I don't have issues with the man being wealthy.
What if the money for his wife was more? What if the money for his wife was more than what he was sending to the siblings?
Then okay, fine. That's where you have communication issue. There's a communication glitch there, because they are not. I don't feel like, apart from trust, where does trust come from? Right? If they are not communicating in constant communication, they won't have this problem in the first place.
you see? I learned sorry for question.
Yeah.
I learned something from an elderly couple. The man said his own family people, if he's gonna send money to them, he sent it through his wife. So the wife really wants to
So that they have respect for the wife.
respect the wife. You understand? So that's what I was talking about.
I'll tell you this, my dear.
The man
You picture it again. Okay, there's no win-win in this house where you have the wife and then you have your siblings, right? There's no win-win. If you give the money to the brother reimburse the money, disburse the money, or if you give the money to the wife, nobody in the wife will feel why. So that's why I was thinking that the way forward, why you have been sending money to me, now you are giving it to your wife that you just married yesterday. Well, that's not how it's supposed to be, because now you're changing. It's like you're picking.
That's your family priorities. See, when you get married to a human, the human has become your flesh. According to the Bible, it's now your flesh.
Well, that's why she's staying in his brother's house, right? Because you said the family.
That part I don't get. I don't subscribe to staying in family house. I don't subscribe at all. Because if your husband knew that you were going to get a visa, I would look to the husband to give her a place.
That I agree.
Give her a.
She should have stayed on her own. Now let's forget about the guy being rich. Now let's forget about the focus here is what happens in the house. The brothers are saying, or rather his brothers are saying, her whereabouts, what's going on. I don't even know if they like her, and she doesn't even know. She should have used her number 6 to say, when she started feeling the heat, since my visa is not ready, let me go. Then I'll return again. So for the reason, if they're keeping her in that house, I don't know if she decided to stay in that house or they made her stay in that house, probably just to put an eye on her.
And that's another angle. But I think what we have established so far is the issue of trust. I think trust is so crucial in any marriage.
Right.
If the trust is not there, the brother will be using his siblings to spy on her.
But if you're speaking of trust, right, there's something of blackmailing, backstabbing. You're saying trust. I trust you 100% and he trusts you 100%, right? But now, when it comes to family, money, things don't go well.
Well, see, in my experience, I control the finances of the house. Okay? That is a good one. I control the finances. So I pay all bills. I pay all staff. I disburse money to family members. So I control the money. Okay, so
but they see I'm pretty sure before you came into the picture,
some people were not happy with it.
Definitely. What do we have?
So I hear you.
That is not for them. So please, you have your whole family now. You and your husband.
But she's under the roof.
Well, I live in my own house, but I'm married to their son.
So that's okay. She has no business in that home in the first place.
That's the mistake.
The mistake is, yes, she should have been out. And when she felt like, they don't like her, when she started having issues, she would have just discussed that with her husband. Like, if you don't have to say, your brothers or your brother and family don't like me, or you just
there's a tax to say that. I can't really. Maybe I should get my own place.
Yeah, your people are really nice and everything. But I just feel like I'm disturbing, like, no, you can stay. It's okay. I spoke with my brother is not like, no, I understand what you're saying, but you're not here. Just come up with something and then leave. But I just feel like she just stood there and everything happened to her. Sorry to cut you. She was able to tell him to come over to Nigeria and he came.
Who? The wife?
Yes.
When things were getting very bad.
He came. But you cannot say, okay, can you get me and can you rent me a place outside of this home?
Okay, that's a point.
There is this culture in Nigeria that I've seen several times where the Igbo culture, you see the siblings of the husband living with the married.
Yeah. I feel like she got the attention she needed, or she got the attention from the family, from the husband and everything, but she just didn't know how to control things.
That's one way to look at it. But we can stem it on I will look at it from also this angle. Someone that is so wealthy. Well, the US is looked at as such a great and fantastic place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you are making dollars. Now, as the wealthiest in the family, you had obligations to your younger ones. Now, anybody coming in is threatening your ration.
Right.
Do you understand? So I know of a woman, right? She got married to a very wealthy guy. The family members and people that were benefiting around him before that woman came were very upset. They fought that woman so hard. But before they got married, everything seemed so great. But once she got in, the man started prioritizing. Oh, let me move money here. We need to move money towards the house. We need to move money towards cars. Money is now moving away from the pockets of those that were making money from him before. They're not going to welcome that woman with open arms. They're not going to welcome the woman with open arms because you're taking from what we were taking from, and now he doesn't have time for us, which is a very selfish way to look at it.
Always selfish.
Because now he needs to move on with his life. He has been catering for you. Now he needs to move on. He needs to have a family. He needs to care for his children. Right. So I think the onus is on the man.
No, and that takes us back to the issue of trust. Like, with trust people, you would be able to assign her to do duties like assigning first levels, and even though they are not going to private seats, you as the man should be able to find a way to sort that out.
But not under someone else's roof.
Okay, so I think, and it still goes to the man too.
No, because we're saying that under someone else's, you cannot come to my house and then now I'm getting the money from you. Like I said, with some traditional culture here in Africa, it's like, and he's a man. If it's a woman, maybe his younger sister, it's a different thing. But it feels like, now your wife is now giving me money. Like, you broke the bro code, that kind of thing. Like
I get what you're saying, but it still falls on the man.
yes,
The man should have provided her accommodation. The man has provided her
it
accommodation.
falls on the both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it falls on the both of them. You are married now, right? You are planning for your future, towards your future, and something comes up. Like, will she just give in easily? They are married, they are bounded by love, and now you are in a distance relationship. He's in America. I mean, she's over here. Like, what is binding the two of them together? Feels like that family was already binding the two of them together.
Right.
You know? Okay. No, not like, because we have cell phones now. You can call in anytime.
But she did make mention of something, that he worked in the U.S. Army, and so he was in camp or training or whatever. So they allocated certain time, that she could reach him. You can't just call anytime, that kind of thing. So it was just certain period that she complained that in that period too, he would call maybe his brother. In that same period, he would call his mother.
She's a wife. You have to have control. She was supposed to control things.
It's very difficult to say that, but I think he would just come back on.
She would just come up with something, and then. No. What I mean, like, control, like, between her and her husband. It
was impossible for that control to happen because they lived apart. But I want to take a short break. I really want to take a short break. And they lived apart. So I want us to take a short break because we're going to drill in on this, on who the onus falls on. Whether it's both of them, the man, or just the woman who was at fault here, and how we can rectify that moving forward. We'll take a quick break. I'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still the When I Wanted Out talk show. Before we went on the break, we were talking about whose fault this marriage, the issues in this marriage were. Was it the man's fault for handing her over to his family? Is it the woman's fault for not learning how to apply wisdom with family members? Or is it both parties' fault that, it's long distance and they had to deal with the repercussions or the consequences of being in a long distance marriage/relationship? So I'm just going to let Miss Kate just state whose fault it is and what we should learn from whoever's fault it is. What lesson should we take? Would you say it was the woman's fault?
I would put more of the fault in the woman.
Okay.
And as well as the man has a fault in it, but I feel like it's the woman's fault because I feel like she didn't put up a fight to save the man that she's married to save her love. Okay, now we're not only talking about marriage, we're talking about love, right? Marriage, love, like the two work hand in hand because this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. So why should you just let it go away because A or B doesn't like me or A or B want to ruin it? So from the story, I feel like she should have done more
to fight for
her marriage and fight for her man.
So, Mr. Abbey, what do you think?
Okay, just like I said earlier, with hearing just one side of the story.
Yes.
In that story, I'm not going to say it's the woman fault. I'm going to say it's the guy's fault because you as a guy, you're the head of the family. You are the leader. Okay, so whatever it is that you want your wife to, like you were saying, the lady think would be fights. Every lady has their own various character. There are ladies that are so calm.
Not necessarily like put up a fist fight.
Understand what I'm saying about putting up a fight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like so much belief.
Trying to leave, try to do something,
But this lady would have told the guy that these are the challenges I'm facing with your family, because do you know that marrying that into that family or bringing her to leave the family is a threat already to the family. It's a threat to the, because the guy is sending a particular amount of money. Probably he's not making extra money. Now there is another person that is going to be receiving some good amount of money as your wife. That is going to be a threat from those that are already receiving
the money.
But that is a threat.
So right, excuse me. Her problem was not the money.
No.
The issue in this case is not because he's sending money and this is where the issue started.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, no, but he's just saying generally that
when he was on that description or the discussion, but those might be they would be the problems Okay, just like we said earlier.
But you're just saying something. Okay, so one point you had was the man was shutting the ration of the family. And so maybe the family is feeling threatened.
Definitely.
Oh, we don't know that. We don't know, but we're just assuming based from this story.
I've seen the whole fine.
Because I believe, right? If there was like she would have stated that because he was sending this amount of money and I received this, and I think she would have stated that like this is what.
I think her major issue. You both have a point. Yeah, you both have a point. So what I'm hearing you say is that the woman needed to have done better to get her husband's attention to the issues she's facing in her marriage.
Exactly.
And then you're saying, well, as a man, you should have known how to better manage the dynamics of your wife and your family. So we can both agree on that point. I think that's a lesson to all of us.
Yeah.
As a woman, you have to apply wisdom in getting information to your husband about his family members. And as a man, protect your wife from your family members. You're the one that grew up with them. You're the one that understands their bad behaviors. So keep them away if you know that they're going to clash.
Right.
So now, when we're talking about this story, one thing that is very glaring is the long distance. Would you advocate for long distance relationships or marriages?
No.
No. Why?
So have you been in a long distance relationship?
No. Not really. No. I don't. Because, like I said, it's called marriage. I am married to someone. And that's the person I want to go to bed with at night. I wake up in the morning, we eat breakfast. Like, we this is our life. And I feel like, okay, if you have a job where, you need to be at a particular, time where we are not going to be together, this is fine. But when you say like long distance, I see that a lot. Like, the ladies or the men, they come like, I've been here for like 1 year, and my family or my wife is. It's like, why would you do that? Why you can easily bring your wife over? Why it doesn't work, because listen, we are humans and we're not going to pretend.
Yeah.
Okay? What happens in marriage? We all know what happens in marriage. We have needs. So what happens when this other person is not around? And then that's when when they come together, you have issues like infidelity, there's the offense. I'm against it 100%, because I feel like you're married, stay together, deal with it.
When it comes to a relationship, like the dating aspect, fine, long distance can work.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did long distance, but when it comes to marriage, just like you said, it's going to be difficult. But I'm looking at it, okay, fine. What in the guy is somebody that works on. I have this colleague that works on the sea. Sometimes he goes out to the sea for 3-4 months. So what will you say about that?
Oh, well, as is.
Yes, that I understand this part, but this does not apply to everyone, because now it's becoming an excuse. Business trip, this one, that one. Come on.
But it happens. Even if it's out of 10.
And they're the guys that work on the ring. So how does she cope with that?
Yeah, exactly.
How do they cope?
That is their problem. If you know you can't handle long distance marriage,
I think it's something that should have been discussed. Yes.
I think they were trying to get to US, just that his
that was not coming through. Yes, they were making efforts.
Then there was this guy trusted family more.
I don't think this guy trusts his family more. I feel like, come on, you don't just wake up and then keep planting stuff.
I actually know of families. Yeah.
I'm the one doing it.
Yes.
Maybe he already had issues with his family before his wife.
He already had issues.
Maybe he had issues with his family before his wife.
Well, I don't get that sense from this story. But I think what we're hearing,
not like misunderstanding or anything like that. You like maybe not from his side, maybe from his family side. Maybe they already have, and now he's now married. So there's already want to boys.
Yeah, no, that knows it boys down.
It's easier for them to cook up with her
as a scapegoat. That's it. Okay, so I get the concept, but I think it's clear long distance marriages are not something that we are agreeing to. Yeah, if you can't handle it, I think it's something that you should be very, very clear about, because if you're going to blame long distance relationships on you're going to blame extramarital affairs on the fact that, oh, my husband is here, my wife is there, then that's not what a marriage is about. So I think I would say I think, because I know everybody has different opinions. So let me just state my own opinion. It is not right to be in a long distance marriage. If it can be avoided, avoid it. If you can't, and it's for work purposes and whatever, I think there has to be fair understanding, clear understanding, communication, discussion between the two of you, and you're on the same, page on the issue. Yeah. But I would say that this marriage honestly was plagued from the beginning. Yeah. And he left the marriage after 8 months. He left it after 8 months. So we need to also be sensitive to who we're listening to. Right. You have to be sensitive to who you're taking advice from, taking counsel from, who is reporting your wife to you, who is reporting your husband to you, whatever. And how we handle that is also very, very important. Now, if there is someone, I want to close out on this note. If you know someone right now that is in a long distance marriage and their husband or wife is having an extramarital affair in the name of my wife lives here, I live here, or my husband lives there, I live here, what would your advice to them be? I will start with you as a man. What would you say to someone, in that situation?
Someone in a long distance
marriage, yes, and they're having affairs, because the man ended up having affairs, which is why the woman left.
Okay, so I've also seen a marriage, like real life, where they both allow themselves to have fun based on the fact that they are away. Okay, but the marriage is still intact. But hey, if you know you can't cope if you know you can't go on the long distance thing, please don't even go into it first. But if you're already into the marriage, and you are having a long distance marriage, okay, probably your husband went for a trip or a work trip for 3 months and all that, you just have to trust in God and just keep the face.
Trust in God. You are in an open relationship, period.
You want to?
Go ahead. No, you're not. You know, both of you didn't consent to it, but the other person is doing something.
I'll make you think so.
Most men, the men, they're really formed.
Most men, what are men?
Well, there are women that will stay. There are women that will stay. Do the same. Yes, some guys that will do rubbish. Most men, not all men, and then most women too do the same.
Yeah.
So
most women.
Yeah. So and from yes.
No, it's right. No, we'll balance it out. But most times, the infidelity comes out more.
Yeah.
Is said. Even if they are doing their own things, it's really coded.
Yeah. Man.
So it's coded, but it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Yes. We're not saying that's right. It's an open relationship. You're in an open relationship.
That's what she's trying to say, is that both of you are doing whatever, but one person is whatever.
If you're not ready to be in a committed marriage relationship where your husband and wife staying together, having conversations, yes, you're not going to be together in the same space for forever, but, you have work, you have things to do, you have to travel and be away, but not for a very long period of time. I think it's really clear. So we have agreed. If you're in a long distance marriage, in a long distance relationship, you have to, 1, trust the person. 2, keep family members away. Yeah, from family members. Yeah.
It's possible also visit the person often, especially when you are sex starved. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know people that travel from years as far as Kano, but don't have sex.
Yeah.
But they will not travel to the wife.
No. So it should be a long distance that at least you can go there and visit him and you guys have work.
Come back, yeah.
So have work while still apart. You understand?
Yeah. Try and make sure the communication and the intimacy is growing while you're still apart, and it shouldn't be too long. Well, thank you. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let us know. Comments, thoughts. If you disagree with what we have agreed on, let us know. We'd like to know your thoughts. Thank you so much. My name is Teleola Kola-Edun. We'll see you same time next week. Bye-bye.